And same with Che Guevara. Just like Che Guevara came from a rich family. He was a doctor first. He was pretty wealthy, but he would like when he was kind of going around stirring up these revolutions, he would ride around on a motorcycle. He had like the leather jacket. He tried to like make it seem like he was some rugged guy from the streets, not like some rich kid from a prominent Argentinian family.
Right.
All
right.
That
does not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
The older I get, that does not surprise me at all. You know?
But so Fidel Castro is put into prison after his failed revolution in 1953. They're told to Fidel's father and Fidel's father-in-law that they're not going to kill him. But then in 1955, they let him out of prison and they put him into exile. I have some theories on why they did this. I think that the reason Batista did this is because if someone's sitting in a prison cell, then it's easier to like form a revolution around them. It's easier to see someone as a martyr if they're sitting in a prison cell and they're like a political prisoner than if you just sent them off somewhere else.
You're saying the reason that who didn't put Batista in jail?
No, the reason why Batista didn't put Fidel Castro in jail. Why Batista let Fidel out of jail. Because
you don't think it was because of the family connections?
I think that's why they didn't. I think that's why he didn't kill him.
Right.
But I think
that is a good point. That is a good
between
point.
Those 2 years, they're seeing Fidel Castro as a martyr. And he thinks, if he sits as a political prisoner.
Batista didn't want this smoke. Let's be clear. He had fucking 20,000. I mean, dude, he could have killed fucking Castro.
He could have.
He didn't want the fucking trouble. He really didn't want the battle. There was no reason for Castro. When we're watching this thing, I'm going, what the fuck is wrong with Batista, dude?
He didn't want to turn him into a martyr. He didn't want him sitting in a...
Why didn't he just fucking kill him? I don't understand that concept.
I think if you kill someone and turn them into a martyr...
you're saying
the people will see him as a martyr and rally around
revolution.
Have their own revolution. So, if he's sitting in a prison cell, he
had no game plan. Though I don't understand.
But also, look at 30 years later with Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is a political prisoner of South Africa, and a revolution forms around him. Of trying to free him, he becomes more powerful in prison than he was on the streets.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Right?
And I think that he didn't
want... I don't know
want
that much about that situation, but he's like a fucking saint.
Nelson Mandela, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't think he wanted that to. I mean, Nelson Mandela was years later, but it's the same concept,
right?
And also, I think it's kind of like if he thought he sent Fidel Castro to Mexico. I don't think he really had any faith that Fidel Castro was actually going to lead an army of exiles to him.
What do you mean with Mexico?
Because that's where Fidel Castro was sent. Fidel Castro is exiled from Cuba. He goes to Mexico City, and that's where he meets Che Guevara.
Oh, before they come back in the woods and shit.
Yeah. Che Guevara was Argentinian. He tried to start he was friends with basically the president of Bolivia, Che Guevara who was a communist and was ousted in a coup by the CIA. And Che Guevara thinks that he's going to get killed by the CIA, so he flees to Mexico City. And Che Guevara and Fidel Castro, they team together. This is where TJ English says that Fidel is turned to communism by Che Guevara. And Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, and 83 Cuban exiles, they sneak back into the country in 1955, and this is where the guerrilla war starts.
Right.
They're in the jungles of Cuba, and they're fighting an insanely small army fighting against the Batista regime. And slowly more and more people start to come to Fidel's side. They start seeing him as like the man of the people. There's a certain mystique around him because he's this guy living in the jungle. He makes people believe that his army is way bigger than it actually is.
Yeah, I can't believe they had a fucking radio show.
They had a radio show, exactly.
Where were they broadcasting from? The woods?
Yeah, they were broadcasting from the middle of the jungle.
How?
And they...
Like technology-wise, I don't understand.
I think you can with a radio. You can broadcast from the middle of nowhere. Okay. Radios are pretty versatile.
Okay.
But they send they're making things up. They're saying they're winning battles that didn't actually happen.
I know.
They're saying like the Batista regime is
the
retreating
media,
from us.
It's the same shit.
And
media.
People around Cuba start to really support Fidel because people hated Batista in Cuba. One, he took away their constitution. He took away their Bill of Rights. He let the mafia do whatever they want in Cuba, and people were ready to get rid of this guy.
Batista let the mafia do whatever they want. Yeah. Did Batista financially benefit directly from?
Yeah. He was getting a cut from everything.
All right. Well,
him and Meyer Lansky were like this. We're tight. He was getting a cut of everything.
So why didn't the mafia prevent Castro?
I don't know how much they could do about it.
Sure. I mean, they're fucking running the city.
I mean...
Can't they run in the country? Can't they
All right, so here's the thing. Back to the mafia.
Why didn't they put a hit team together? I know later they did. They tried.
By, like, 57, 58, since Fidel... I think a lot of it is they couldn't get to Fidel. I mean, everyone was trying to kill him. I'm sure that there was an attempt, at least early on.
Until Obama finally got him.
But basically the mob...
That's not what happened.
A lot of gangsters kind of start playing both sides in the revolution.
Because they're just trying to...
They're close to Batista. They're still giving him money. A lot of them start smuggling guns to Fidel Castro and his men. Because they have the idea of, like, the people are turning against Batista. They really like this Fidel guy. Let's help him overthrow the government. And when he's in charge, he'll let us keep our casinos. That's what the thinking was. So in part, like,
why do that? But why do that instead of back the guy who's already doing that?
Because they thought that Batista was going to be gone. They smell. It's not that this was all done in secret. They were still very supportive of Batista. Batista thought the mafia was still on their side. They were making backup plans. They were saying, if Fidel gets through with this, let's give him guns. Let's run him guns and money so that if he's actually able to do this, we'll be like, hey, we helped you out. So let us keep our casinos.
So, like, it'd be one thing, like, the mafia just it's not a surprise that they're really not around anymore because they just don't have any sort of backbone.
No.
You know, they're just this slippery nothingness.
Look, if you're the type of person to join the mafia, then you're the type of person to betray the mafia.
Facts.